because you and Triple H have been working together for years now in NXT. You worked together in WCW. Give us a good Triple H story. What is one of your favourite Triple H stories?
It's a weird thing that we have. We barely talk. There'd be people who, we're closer than that. You can't even say friends or whatever. There's a different bond between us that it's hard to explain, and he knows it as well. So he's got people who'll say are his best friends, and I've like Robbie Brookside's my best friend. I don't have to know what he's thinking, he's so far advanced on my thinking, that's why I sit like a little pup, because I go, I would have never thought of that in a million years, or thought that was possible. So, but he knows what I'm good at, and he knows that I can take care of anything. And then literally we can look at each other from across an arena, and he can just go, and I know what he's thinking, and he knows what I'm thinking, and I take care of it, and why he's doing his thing, and then he brings his bit, and I bring my bit. And that's why we bonded in the first day I ever met him. Right, I saw a like-minded soul who was, a year younger than me, that I'd only just started really doing this, but I'd been around a long time. Would you like to come and travel with me, and I can maybe show you a bit of this and show you a bit of that, and then he went on to doing what he did. But we've got this kind of bond that we work well together, and we're like, it's as far as a story, there's only one story that sort of is amusing, because there's not a lot. We've spent a lot of time sat in hospitals with each other, and especially with him in the early 2000s, because we used to travel together when I went back to the WWE. When we were in WCW, we were first together as a team. He was actually one that had the first robe. The robes that I used to wear eventually with Bobby Eaton and Dave Taylor. Well, he had a black, because he was doing John Paul Levesque, and they paired us together. And so our first TV, we started working at the power plant, the gym in Atlanta, on being a specialist tag team. And there was a guy called Jody Hamilton there that was a really excellent tag team wrestler. And I learned a lot. I was in a lot of tag teams, but he taught me some really. So I was teaching Triple H as well. We were all learning. We were all sort of learning. But we're going to debut, and originally they were going to put Sherry Martel with us in time, but he ended up, his contract came up, and he got the chance to go to WWE, and I said, go. You need to be going. I know you're destined for things. You could just see it in him, right? But they'd signed me to a long-time deal there, and I was already signed up. It was, you go. So we were only together a short time, but the first day we were at TV, and he's got this black robe that he ended up giving to me, that I used to wear in the '96, and that I had a red one, and we stood there admiring ourselves. And obviously you've noticed neither of us shy in the nasal department. We're rather large ooters, right? He's bigger than mine, but we were stood there admiring each other, looking in this mirror, like in the dressing room, like, and these big puffy shirts like that, and this big like that, and we're looking at each other, and Arn Anderson walked behind us like that, in his way, and just went, "You two look like a pair of woodpeckers," and just carried on walking, and we're like, oh, we're like all deflated, and put us right in a place, and we both but that we don't write, like I say, it's funny, we used to travel together. The thing we bonded over as well was like metal music, because although I was basically always call myself an old soulie, but I was always into that first wave of what they call now old British metal, about Motörhead, and we bonded over certain things. But we don't hardly talk to each other. We've got no common interests apart from NXT, and I don't see him. I see him a week, but everybody else, I'm the last person he ever needs to talk to, if that makes any sense. Because we sort of have this thing that we could just communicate without talking. So he can just go, or I can go, and that's it. And I might get occasionally, because I know he has to deal with everything else. He's got a million things, and on top of everything he does at NXT, he's got everything else that he deals with. And so I'm the last person he needs to worry about, and he trusts me. It's a nice thing to know that you've got somebody who trusts you that much. I might get the odd word, and one word is enough on a text that I can do what I need to do. That's how well we communicate with each other without talking. So as far as stories, I don't. The thing that I have is that there was a time when I spent a lot of time sat in hospitals till 4 and 5 when he had that bad run of one injury after another in the early 2000s, and me sitting up with him in hospitals, then visiting him while he was in rehab in Birmingham, because I lived in Atlanta, and little things like that. But they're more personal things that are not make for funny stories, really.
Well, I'm glad I got to speak to one of the woodpeckers.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It was the small woodpecker as well. Just get that out there.
Okay, from the small woodpecker.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.